My name is Pat Shelton. I'm here today to talk about the workplace management system for the Public Defender's Office in Nashville, Tennessee. This is my capstone project for Bethel University. I'm in pursuit of a master's degree in conflict resolution. It is August 2016. I'm here today to talk about a workplace conflict management system that was designed and implemented at the Metropolitan Public Defender's Office. The head of a booming metropolitan agency was confronted with the results of an office-wide survey. This survey shed light on employee dissatisfaction, especially as it related to how conflict and communication was handled within the office. When faced with this news, the head of the agency did not shy away from this devastation. Instead, she confronted the issue. She confronted the issue head on and quickly. She sent everyone in the office an email, and in that email, she said, "I need to acknowledge that we haven't done much to address the things that divide us, including the difficult issue of how our individual circumstances, things like race, religion, culture, ethnicity, class, and education impact our perceptions of and interactions with each other and at times our clients." She continued by saying, "The office's response to this survey made it clear that if we fail to do this in the future, we will not have the kind of positive workplace that you have told us you want." It was from this point forward that Ms. Diener began a concentrated effort to address those issues in a variety of ways. She began to have regular communications meetings and allowed staff to participate in problem-solving techniques that were identified and solved collectively. As the process and the participation grew, the agency head decided that senior staff would be removed and a new, recently hired communication director would facilitate those meetings. Once this happened, more issues were brought to the forefront, and it became apparent, at least to her, that conflict and how to address conflict was something that needed to be addressed and addressed quickly. Several months later, I approached Ms. Diener. I approached her regarding the design and implementation of a workplace management system that would be designed specifically for her office. In talking with Ms. Diener, she told me that she did not want the wheel to be invented. Ms. Diener said that there was a system already in place that addressed conflicts. There is a process. This is a government agency, and employees could go to human resources, they could go to the union. There were other ways to address disputes in the workplace. And specifically, what she needed was something or a process that would address those small things, those small disagreements that cause people not to want to work with each other. Those little battles is what she needed a process or a system for, so that employees could learn to work it out, so the work wouldn't suffer, and so that employees would have a stake in staying with the company. She reminded me that the agency follows the civil service guidelines. Additionally, she reminded me that the office follows the Healthy Workplace Statute, which is followed in most government agencies in the state of Tennessee. This statute aims to assist employees in recognizing and responding to abusive conduct in the workplace and seeks to prevent retaliation against any employee who has reported abusive conduct in the workplace. This system, as Ms. Diener viewed it, how she dreamed that it would be anonymous, and it would offer solutions to employees. After gaining input from a random group of employees, a committee was formed to come up with the guidelines. This committee consisted of lawyers and support staff, in the hopes that the lawyers would help to alleviate some of those pesky legal issues and questions that other lawyers might bring up. Upper management will approve the guidelines, and after the approval and the approval of the rollout date, the guidelines will be emailed and then made into a packet for inclusion into the employee handbook. The announcement will be made by the agency head. All questions will be referred to the two previously identified individuals and any committee members. There will be emails sent out in the hopes that the fear of this process and the system will decrease. Management will continue encouraging open conversation and touting benefits such as changing the workplace culture. As the system is executed, management has shown approval, the insert will be handed out, and reminders regarding the point person and the neutral will be emailed. The hope for this system is that all who are involved in this system will provide conflict resolution within the office, and that it will boost morale and increase productivity. It is recommended that upper level management and supervisors continue and encourage and support this system, and that the employees that are involved within the system be given the necessary time to work on the process and also to use the system. It is recommended that this process be reviewed at regular intervals. The Public Defender's Office Workplace Conflict Management System. As we can see from this particular slide, conflict will be lessened, but it will not be alleviated. So what is the purpose of this system? As stated earlier, there was a survey sent out. The results of that voluntary survey illuminated issues within the office that management was not aware of. These issues included individual circumstances, our race, religion, our perceptions, our interactions with each other, and at times our interactions with our clients. So it was in March of 2016 that management decided to address these issues, and a conflict management system designed for this office will address those issues. What will the system look like? The system is anonymous. The process will be streamlined. The process will have clear directives. This process will be designed to have a well-managed solution. This process will include informal problem solving. As we look at the design of this program, we look at how the process started. The agency head agrees that a system is needed and recommends 2 individuals. Those 2 individuals are the communication director, Sarah, and the other individual is Daniel. In particular, Daniel is a person that is well liked within the office. He's organized and he's detailed. As we continue looking at the design, a committee will be formed to create the guidelines. Those committee recommendations will then be sent for approval. There'll be a handout which will be given to management. Once management approves, then there will be an informal gathering that rolls out the process, and at this informal gathering we'll have snacks and we'll let management launch the initiative. So as we look at the implementation of this system, we start with phase 1 of the system. So we're recapping here. Phase 1, the committee will list the type of disputes the conflict management system will not take. This will be sent out in an email. Phase 2, specific guidelines will be listed in the packet, and an insert will be given to employees. That insert will be placed in the employee manual. In phase 3, a chat and chew is planned for the system to be rolled out. Phase 4, upper management will make the announcement. In phase 5, the office will launch the system and clarify what this process is about. In phase 6, we'll be reducing the fear of using the system. So, implementation, we're taking it a step further. We see a picture here with 3 choices. Well, with 2 choices. We have resolved or continued. And we're hoping that as employees talk about this, as they get the word out, that conflict will be resolved, and this resolving of conflict will assist in changing the workplace culture. As we execute the system, management gives approval and discusses the merits of the system in an informal meeting. An insert handout that has been formatted by the assigned committee has been placed in the employee mailboxes. The point person is Daniel and the neutral is Sarah. These 2 individuals are available for questions by email, and questions can also be referred to the committee members. As we administrate this system, we note that Daniel is the point person, Sarah is the neutral. Daniel will handle the request. He'll gather information from the requesting party and pass it on to Sarah. Sarah will follow up with the requesting party and speak with the other party to gain agreement of both. There'll be a follow-up with the parties by Daniel after the meeting with the neutral. And this follow-up will happen in about 2 weeks. As we look to see whether people like this process, we will do a check-in. We'll do another survey in 12 to 18 months. If the majority is dissatisfied, the committee will convene again, see if we can come up with a process or guidelines or see what the problems are. If necessary, the office will solicit input from a professional ADR service. To summarize, this system came about because there was previous dissatisfaction with conflict resolution within the office. Because of this, and there is a call for an action plan. The system is voluntary and it's anonymous, and it must be streamlined. Employees are encouraged to take advantage of the system. Employees have a place to address workplace conflict, which boosts morale and increases productivity. Recommendations for this system. Management's investment should continue. Employees need the necessary time during office hours to define the process and discuss guidelines. Participants provide neutral meeting space within the office. Office should review the process at regular intervals, and staff needs to give input, and they should do that through a survey within 12 to 18 months. As far as questions are concerned, we want to talk about what kinds of issues that the agency has grappled with. So in talking with the agency head, there are issues as far as people not being able to work together or not wanting to work together, personality differences, and these are the kinds of things that she wants handled within the office. Another question might be, why create a system like this when employees can just go to human resources? So human resources, within human resource, you could start the process there. You also have a union. The agency head prefer that those little problems be handled within the office. And if there's a process there where we could deal with things like employee dissatisfaction with management, or a manager not being able to tell an employee that they're coming in late, employee being offended by something that someone says, as long as it doesn't stray into the lines of sexual harassment or any type of discrimination. These are the types of things that need to be handled with this workplace management system. So, is this a program where one can report a supervisor for being unfair? Possibly. So it would have to go through Daniel first, and then Daniel kind of mulls it about and decides whether it should go further up or whether it could stay within the office, and then he'll turn it over to Sarah, who will talk with both parties or all parties to see if that's something that they would agree to mediate. Will an employee have to take personal time to have a meeting? The time will be given for parties to address those disputes if they are with Sarah or with Daniel, and they will be keeping accurate records. Time will be taken, but that's just to show where employees are at a given time, but it will not take away from their leave, their sick time, or their leave time. Or the other concern is dealing with this type of system with an office full of lawyers who litigate everything to death. So this is why we have a committee. The committee is comprised of the lawyers and the support staff, and hopefully those types of issues will be ironed out before everything is rolled out. And I guess the other thing that is necessary for the employees to know, that all matters such as sexual harassment and discrimination and or wrongful termination, things like that, those need to go to HR, and the office will follow the guidelines set out by the Civil Service Commission. Thank you.